Okay, we are live now, so I believe we
Okay.
can start.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you enjoy your day. This is another weekend, and of course, the weekend is for us to learn, relearn, and unlearn. We are so excited to have you guys around today, and then I'm so excited to have a colleague and highly esteemed colleague, a mathematician to the call, a respected fellow, an expert in the field of mathematics, a great educator, a very great online influencer, and of course, a nation builder. So in today's session, we are going to be looking at something that is critical and key to educators generally. Of course, you will agree with me that um, one of the ways to show that you are effective, you are productive, you are experienced, you are skillful, you are a 21st century educator, is that you are able to demystify seemingly difficult subject for your students. A teacher in the 21st century that is not able to break down in the simplest term subject or lessons for his student is still far behind schedule in terms of 21st century teaching. So tonight, we are going to be looking at the strategies for to teach difficult subjects. I know some of you, a lot of you would have you asked me this question, and I'm bringing this program live to you. You asked Emirat, you too, you have been able to teach chemistry for some time, and then we see it in your upcoming textbook. You have done it a free class with us. We see how you teach chemistry so easily. We see how you are able to demystify a lot of things that some of our textbook will not be able to do. And then, what is your secret? I will not be the one to answer that question tonight. I have a boss here, Mr. Esomnofu Chidebube Shooks. Is a mathematics guru. He will be answering that question tonight. And of course, I'm very sure you're going to enjoy his session. He'll be telling you facts and the skills, the strategies, the techniques he used to make mathematics like banana. Like you are eating banana so easy, and then of course fun. So he'll be sharing the strategies with us tonight, and I hope that you are going to learn a whole lot from each session. Okay, so without much ado, we are going to be bringing on Mr. Esomnofo Chidebube Chuks, the founder of Esomnofo Online Maths. He's a mathematics teacher, and he'll be telling us tonight the strategies in teaching difficult subject. You are welcome, Mr. Esomnofo.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Odusanya Adeola. Honestly, it's nice being with you at this moment to talk about the best strategies of teaching difficult subjects. Just like people had already believe that mathematics is a difficult subject, though simple, because something that is difficult to you can be simple to another person. Many persons see mathematics as a very difficult subject. Some see English language and some other subjects as a very difficult one. But now we'll be talking about um, all the subjects, whichever one you are finding difficult to understand or to teach as well. So we are here tonight to talk on the difficult ways in which we can teach the most important ways we can teach difficult subjects for proper understanding by our students. Sorry, it is raining heavily here and the noise, thunderstorm, and all that. It's plenty here, so I believe you can hear my voice very well. You can respond by saying hi on the comment section if you can hear me properly, so I can continue. Okay. Now, to teach difficult subjects, even a simple subject can be made difficult if the best strategies are not utilized in teaching those subjects. So, be it a subject you feel is difficult or simple, there are some strategies you apply in your classroom. It will make your teaching very simple and easy to understand. Okay, so I can sense that many persons are getting it right because they are saying hi. They are seeing. It seems my voice is fine now. Okay, now There are a lot of strategies you can use in your classroom. I will share with you this moment the ones I've used in my classroom to achieve a better result. Okay, one is that there is what we call question box. There is what we call question box. Many students don't ask questions in class. They are afraid to ask questions, and they don't even respond to teachers' questions in classes. Maybe they are shy to say their ideas, to share their ideas with the class and all that. So, and most students by default believe that a particular subject, let's say mathematics, is difficult, and because of that, they don't even need to learn it. They feel unconcerned when lessons are going on. And as a teacher, this will go a long way destroying your efforts. It will go a long way making you not to achieve your set objective, because if students don't pay attention to your lessons, they might not get you right. So in order to ensure that every child pays attention while lessons are going on in your classroom, you have to have what we call the question box. The question box. The question box is a transparent box which contains all the names of your students written in an individual paper. Maybe you can cut a small cardboard, very small. On this cardboard paper or any kind of paper, you can write the names of all the students in your class. Then you put it there. Each paper will contain just one name. Now, anytime you want to ask your student question, you can shuffle the cards and pick it. Any name that appears on the card will be the person that will respond to your questions. Now, this will go a long way, making everybody to pay attention, because nobody knows who the next question will come to. And as a result of that, everybody tends to pay attention because they don't want to pay your question and they don't want to be laughed at when they fail to answer the question. So when you use this question box, which is a transparent box that contains the names of every student in your class, it will go a long way helping everybody to pay maximum attention in your class, because nobody knows whom the next question will land on. All right. We have what we call the red cards. Red cards. Like in my classroom, I ensure that every side in my classroom is having a very small card painted in red. The card is painted in red. Now, anytime someone wants to ask a question, a lot of students feel shy to ask questions in class when lessons are going on. They don't want to ask your question. They are afraid that they will be laughed at. They are afraid that they might try and fail. And they don't want their peers to look down on them. Because of that, a lot of students don't ask questions. And in order to ensure that everybody is carried along, I created a card which I called red card. Every side has it. If a side notices that my attention is on him or her, and she or he has a question, he will carefully raise the card up. Once I see it, sorry, excuse me, I will know that there is a danger. And therefore, I have to go to him or her and respond to his question privately. If it is a question that requires public treatment, I have to treat it so that everybody understands. But the idea of this red card is to ensure that every side asks questions as at when due, because most of them don't want to ask you questions when lessons are going on. So red card is very important tool I use in my class. It helps me to achieve my goal as a math teacher who is teaching subjects some people say it's difficult. So, excuse me. So that red card is going a long way. It's one of the ways these difficult subjects can be taught, so that everybody will be attentive. No matter, even if you are the best teacher in the world and your students don't pay attention, you cannot achieve results. Hence, the first step to take in ensuring that these difficult subjects are taught properly is to ensure that you use the best tool, everybody is carried along, and all that. Also, there is what I call differentiation. There is what I call differentiation. When I say differentiation as a math teacher, many persons will be looking at me as if I'm talking about the y, the x, or I'm talking about calculus in mathematics, but that is not where I'm going. When you consider various learners' ability in your lesson planning, you are differentiating, because every side cannot learn at the same pace. Hence, in making your lesson plan, you must consider their various learning abilities. Like I use differentiation a lot. Differentiation, you know, it does not necessarily mean that every side will be learning the same thing at the same time. For example, if I'm to teach indices in my class, I know a lot of students who cannot add and subtract. I know a lot of students who cannot do so many things. And if I jump in and start teaching everybody indices at the same time, I'm not helping them. So what I do is that I differentiate. Another good example is that, say I want to teach differentiation now. You cannot learn differentiation without knowing indices. So these are what I incorporate in the worksheet I share with my students to ensure that they are carried along. Okay? Because if you just come into the class and start teaching everybody the same thing, you cannot achieve results. The goal of learning is to ensure that everybody moves from his or her present academic level to another academic level. Okay? So I differentiate a lot, and there are so many ways you can differentiate. You can differentiate by the kind of task. That is what we call differentiation by task. Some students can have in their worksheet a very simple task to do on the same topic you are treating. You know, we have below average students, we have average students and high flyers. So the below average students, the kind of task I will give to them will be very easy so that they will be able to get something at least. The average student will have a task that is higher than that of the below average student. And I have the ones I give to my high flyers. That is the very intelligent students. Okay, so all these things are differentiation. You can differentiate by this kind of way, which I call differentiation by task. You can differentiate by grouping, by pairing the intelligent students and the below average students together, or the average student. You know how to mix them together so that they can interact and help one another. You can also differentiate by timing. I can give a child 3 minutes to solve a task. And then I can give another 1 minute to do that. All right. So by timing, you can differentiate your students so that those ones that takes time to solve a given task, maybe because they are below average, we have time to do that, and you can as well go around the class and assist those below average students. So differentiation is a very good key through which difficult subjects can be taught in school, because if you don't differentiate, you are not actually doing the right thing, honestly. And again, into this differentiation, there is what we call challenge wall. Most times in teaching and learning, it is a taboo. It is a crime to maybe leave the very intelligent students alone in the class, thinking that they have mastered everything, they don't need help. You just spend all the time, each time you enter class, guiding the weak students. That is a taboo. If you are doing like that, please stop it, because you are hitting the very intelligent students. And how do you ensure that these very intelligent students are carried along? How do you ensure that? You can ensure that by using what we call challenge wall. Challenge wall is just a corner of your classroom where challenging questions are kept, so that those times you take in guiding the below average students, the high flyers will not be left behind. The high flyers will not feel cheated. The high flyers will not be idle. They can have their hands on some questions that they will be taking, which are difficult. I will challenge them. That will make them busy while you go around to help the below average students. By so doing, you will see that everybody is carried along, and learning and your objectives will be achieved by everybody. But if you bend on believing that the very intelligent students are okay, that they don't need this, they don't need that, let you guide the weak students, you are not stretching. You are not stretching the very intelligent students, and they will not be growing. If the child is even making 90, it is not enough. You need to stretch the person to make 99, 98, 100, and all these things are achievable. They are attainable. So through challenge wall, you can as well differentiate. Like I said, challenge wall is just an area, a corner in your classroom designed for challenging questions to be kept in order to ensure that the high flyers are not idle when we go around the class helping the weak students. Okay. Now, finally, there is what we call intervention class. Intervention class. I found out that most students are afraid of mathematics, and no matter what you do, no matter how you try as a teacher, there will be some students that will still fail. So in order to help these students that always fail, maybe they don't get it in class, you can have what we call an intervention class. You can set up this class maybe during their break period or during their leisure time. Like when I was in the conventional school system, I usually deprive some students their break period. I do that so that in a way it will pain them a bit, and because it is paining them, they will put more effort in learning and paying attention during that time the intervention class is taking place, so that they will pass. And once they pass, I will stop disturbing them to join the intervention class because they don't like it. But once you use their break period, they will like to pass, because if you get below 50%, you are going to my intervention class. So that intervention class, students are afraid of it. It is making them to struggle so well in order to avoid being into that class. And I use their break period when they like so much. I will deprive you your break just for you to learn and understand the certain concept. So everybody pays maximum attention in that class because they want to lead that class. The compulsory class wants to get 50%. So a lot of students start to struggle to improve, and the magic happens through that class. Just like you are having your intervention class, it is also wise that you have a class called competition class. In that competition class, I put my high flyers because I still need to stretch them. Where they are is not enough. I always stretch my very intelligent students. So I call the class competition class, where I prepare those students that are very, very sound. I prepare them sharing questions from cowbell, Olympiad, all this stuff, mathematics. We do it together. I equally stress myself because through stressing them, I am stressing myself as well. So all these things are what I incorporate to be able to get students that have won so many awards, cowbell, Olympiad, etc. So if all these strategies are well implemented in the classroom settings, honestly, magic must take place. And one thing you need to know is that all these strategies, it is not wise to put all of them at a time, because too many cooks spoil the broth. So it is wise to start from one and progress to two. Just check around and see the one that works for you and for your students. There could be so many strategies, even apart from the ones I've mentioned here. You can think of so many things that will help your students to grow. But most importantly, don't expect a child that is scoring 10% to score 90% or to score 80% immediately. It can happen, but gradually. I applaud a child that scored 11% in one term. I gave him a lot of praise. Why? This child always scored 2, 3, 5, and all that. But he scored 11. I praised him and dealt with a child that made 90%. You see? Or somebody will be telling you you are blaming somebody that scored 90 and praising somebody that scored 11%. Yes, because the person that scored 90 used to score 95. Now he's scoring 90. That means he's going back. No progress. But somebody that was scoring 2, 5 and others scored 11. So that's progress. That is how you measure. You always set targets for your students. If he scores 10 this term, give him 10% increase the score by 10%. Let him score 11 next term or more. If he fails to score that, you set another target. So all these things are what you have to incorporate into your teaching learning activities so that the right thing will be achieved. Because teaching is not easy, but it's very interesting. It's a very noble profession that if you do it wisely, honestly, it pays off. They do say that teachers' reward is in heaven. But nowadays, we can take advance on earth before we get to heaven. So they will give us advance here before we get to heaven. Okay, I think that's all from me for now. Thank you so much, Mr. Odusanya.
Okay, I can say that's very, very good. Now, first, let me also ask, um, I the way you teach mathematics using what is it called something that is real, then bringing it on board. You know, you bring real objects and the likes, and then some. You know, observe that there's a lot of creativity. What makes you quite unique in your teaching approach using demystifying now is one important thing to use a strategy to teach. It's another thing to be skillful in teaching a particular subject. One there is one thing to use a lot of strategies to do it. There's another thing to be skillful. Now, how did you develop this skill, creativity, and capacity to be able to teach this what's it called very easily, and then of course you break it down in the simplest term.
Okay. Thank you so much. I am on a mission to end mass phobia, and somebody that mass has dealt with. I failed mathematics from my primary school days till I got to SS2 10th term. So mathematics dealt with me, and because initially I wanted to be a medical doctor, I love sciences and chemistry and all that, but I always failed mathematics. But the most important thing is that at the end of the term, I always take first position in class, second position, and all that. But mathematics dealt with me. And because of that, I challenged myself that I have to drop my passion of being a medical doctor to read mathematics in the university. And that is what I did. Even from my year one in the university, I started teaching. I've taught even for almost 13 years now, because I started from my university days. So I learned maths. I learned maths in a very difficult way. In fact, most of the things I've learned in maths, I learned it personally. I researched a lot about it. So before I could teach anything, or before I could say that this is something I know, I must have read and read a particular topic using not less than 10 different textbooks. So to see it in all angles. And you cannot teach more than you know. So first of all, the first way to make a subject, your teaching to be simple and easily understood by people is that you have to have 100% mastery of that topic. A topic that you don't understand, no matter how good you are in teaching, you cannot present it very well. So there is no topic, even if I want to teach lowest common multiple now, which is one of the simplest topic in maths, I must make research before I teach it. I know it very well. I know it's difficult for me to tell anything in lowest common multiple. But if I want to teach lowest common multiple now, I must make a research on it. I need to know what lowest common multiple is. Why do we study it? Because if you don't ask yourself this question, why? Honestly, you cannot get it right. Why is this thing being studied? Is it of any use to us? What is the meaning actually? Once you understand what it is all about, honestly, you break it down like ABC. So what I do to make my teachings well simplified and understood is I take my time to learn the topic, to understand it. Then as you're teaching it, you'll be thinking of so many things. Who and who needs this class? What do they need to know before they know this? If there are things they need to know before they know this, go back and review that thing so that they know it. You cannot just start roofing without a foundation. So without a foundation, there will be no roof. So if you don't go back to find the reasons or the various things they need to know before you come up to a new topic, honestly, nobody will appreciate that. Nobody will appreciate that. So if you watch me in my Facebook page here, I have done hundreds of topics on indices that most of my fans and followers are even tired of this. But I'm doing it because I know I will be teaching differentiation calculus, which I'm presenting now. Without anybody that does not know indices very well, can never appreciate calculus. You can never appreciate calculus if you don't know indices. So I'm spending my time pushing indices. Even till tomorrow, I'll still be making videos on indices in my YouTube channel. But on Facebook, I will do present the calculus until I get to the end of calculus, and then I change to a new topic. So to make lessons well simplified, first of all, as a tutor, understand that thing very well. You must understand it. You must appreciate it, because you cannot give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. So first of all, have it. Then you not think of a way of giving it out. That is what I do. I don't sleep. Honestly, most times by 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm awake making research, even on what I know. Even on what I know. It's only a fool that will be satisfied with the knowledge he or she has. Only a fool, and nobody knows it all, and that is why I research a lot. So with research, honestly, you can make any topic, no matter how difficult that topic is, you can make it so simple. I think these are the few things I do to make my lessons well understood by followers and my students in class. Thank you.
Okay. I'll also ask one or two questions again. Now, one of the things I've also been asked is that is it always good that to have alternative answers or solutions to um, maybe some difficult questions and the likes. Because one of the things personally that I do in chemistry is I look at a particular topic, especially when it involves calculation. Now, I know that there are conventional ways of solving it, and of course, I understand that some of my students do not even understand that conventional way. So I adopt new methods. Most of the time, I have to create two, three, four methods myself, create formulas for what is it called? Create formulas, other formulas for the problem to be solved. Now, a lot of teachers do ask me that they do not know how to do this. That they have tried that they can find alternative way to solve some questions for their students. Do you have any solution for them?
Okay. Alternative ways to like what I do. Sometimes there is what I call tricks. If you watch me, what I do mostly here is tricks. Now, is one of the alternative ways. But first of all, before you give somebody tricks, you must ensure that the person knows the background of that topic very well before you go into teaching, into the tricks. Okay, so my tricks is one of the ways I use to make even the weak students to understand. So maths can be this easy. With that motivation that maths can be so easy, it makes them to pay to put more. In fact, it motivates them a lot to even learn the hard one. So they will say, I can do this in 1 minute. So this is possible. Now, most of these tricks is possible because I've understood the topic and know the working principle. Then once you know the working principle of a topic, you'll be able to maneuver to know a shorter way of doing it. And I encourage them to use the tricks when they are dealing with objective questions, because theory question you need to show your work. When they are dealing with objective questions, it saves them a lot of time. That is why if you go into JAMB examination, they will tell you it's 40 minutes to do that. Many students will finish in 20 minutes, and you'll be there wondering if they wrote the same exam with you. So that's one of the ways. Research, anything. There is nothing in life that doesn't have a trick. That is why most people do Yahoo and all that, which is very bad and condemnable. So there are tricks in everything, even in maths. An understanding of a topic will help you to know how it works, and by so doing, you have to omit a lot of steps and arrive at your answer. And people will think it's magic. It's not magic. That is manipulations. Okay. So anything can be simplified, no matter how it is. So it's left for the teacher, no matter the subject, to learn more on many concepts in their field, to be able to know the best way to teach their students for proper understanding. Even in English language, even in chemistry, even in biology, there are tricks, there are acronyms you can use to internalize so many concept in mathematics. So I believe the trick is for the teacher to work hard to know the best way to impact in their students and study their various students' learning styles, because learning style is very important. Learning style is just a way a student internalizes concepts. So if you master your students' learning styles, honestly, you will know how best to teach them. There are students that like a lot of videos and all that. So you can share videos through your interactive board or projector in your class that will stimulate them a lot. When I was in British Spring College, Oka, I was teaching just one student mathematics, types of numbers, natural numbers, and all that. So I thought how I would teach. You know, in the school, they have so many classes. There is a class called Amber. That Amber class is the weakest among all the classes. That is where you have the below average students. And how do they learn? They learn by fun. If you don't play and dance with them, they cannot learn. So what I did is that I composed a song on types of number, and I started singing. I think I've made a video on that one day. I posted it here. All natural numbers, all whole numbers are integer, all integers are rational numbers. I videoed myself dancing and singing it. I was dancing, playing along like a child, and I shared it. Every student started laughing. Everybody, they wanted to even to scatter the class in laughter. After that, they were so happy, and anything I was saying, everything I was teaching them was going inside and inside and inside. In fact, till today, they know all types of numbers, their properties because of that song. So it is best for you to study the learning styles of your students. Once you understand how they learn, you have to teach them the way they learn. Okay, so I think that's the best way to combat with all these issues. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to check if there are questions from what's it called?
Okay.
I'm trying to check. Maybe there are questions here. I'm trying to check if there are questions from what's it called? I'm trying to check. Okay. Okay. Now the question I would also love to ask is that some teachers also approach me, and then they say that some teachers also approach me, and then what they say is that they are good with what they are doing, okay, that they love what they are doing, but the issue is that they don't know um how to teach online like you do. That they are very very good with what they are doing, but they don't know how to teach online. Okay, so what are your strategies in teaching online? Well, how do you do it for teachers that are good like you, but they don't know how to teach online?
Okay. Thank you. If you can teach in the classroom and you are not shy of being in front of camera, you can teach online. But the only difference is that teaching in classroom, you are teaching to students present there. They ask you questions, you respond to them, you control the class. You do. In fact, to me, it is more difficult to teach in classroom than to teach online, because as you are teaching online, you are doing that so straightforward. All right, anybody that doesn't understand can pause the video and play it back again. But in the conventional classroom, you talk and talk, you control noise making, you respond to students' questions and all that. You read their psychology and all that. But in the online setting, you just need to observe your audience to see the topic they like most. The topic they like most, because I've seen that my followers here like algebra a lot, and that is why most of my lessons are on algebra. But I like trigonometry so much. I like trigonometry and statistics, but I rarely make videos on them because I can't be making videos on what I like, but what the consumers like. All right. So one of the things you need to, one of the things that can keep you online as an online content creator is the passion. Like I started this some of online mass as a result of the passion I have for teaching and learning. I had no intention, honestly, to start this platform. It was during the pandemic. I said, what and what are the ways I'll contribute my own quota and all that. So I said, let me just be teaching online. I started posting videos, having in mind to gain anything from it. I did it out of passion because I love teaching. I love, and also I was motivated by a foreign math tutor in YouTube, Black Pen, Red Pen. I saw him one day teaching, and hundreds of students we are watching him on live. I said to myself, when will I teach and people watch me live teaching? All these things motivated me a lot. So you don't just start it because you see others are teaching online, let you join and teach. You will fail. First of all, have the passion that you love what they're doing. You want to help kids all over the world to learn and understand and appreciate a concept. So do it as a charity. That is how I started. When I started, I went through so many universities, secondary school. I taught for free. I made WAEC pass questions in CD plates. I dashed it to about 3,000 students now benefited from that. And I know how much it cost me. I did it free of charge. About 3,000 copies we are giving to students free of charge then in Anambra State. And here in Abuja, I've given out some freely, WAEC pass question in my DVD plate. So being successful online, you must have the passion, you must be persistent, you must be making good content, you must be resourceful, you must do a lot of research and know what your audience wants and have a target audience. Like myself, I love advanced mathematics so well. I don't joke with calculus, all these Laplace transform, all these advanced maths. I enjoy it so well. But when I started, that was more of what I do, advanced maths. But I noticed that people don't watch it because grown-ups are no longer under full control of their parents. They love using their data to watch comedies, watch movies, and all that. But I noticed that most parents force their kids to learn at a tender age, especially the primary age and junior secondary. So I noticed that if I keep on making videos on that level, many parents will enjoy it and it will benefit more to people that did it. So I came down to work on primary mathematics and junior secondary and senior, for instance. So I stopped touching university mathematics because most people don't need. There are people that need it, but they are not up to 10% of my followers. And I need to be making something that people need and not what I enjoy doing. And that is why I have stopped for a while. There was a time I did a lot of videos in advanced mathematics, but once in a while I stopped it. Now I started calculus. Normally, I never wanted to do calculus videos here because many audience don't like it. But I noticed when I did a poll here on Facebook, people voted for this calculus so much. I said, okay, let me help the advanced students a bit to talk about calculus and all that. But my target audience, I knew them on time and I focused on them, and that was why I was able to give them what they wanted. So you don't just start and be doing anything you like. You do primary today, you do junior secondary, you do university, you do masters, you do PhD and all that. You won't have a target audience. So discover the people you feel are watching you, the people that need it and all that. So by so doing, you'll be able to do well. And also be passionate about it. If you're not passionate, honestly, you can't be successful here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, okay, there is a question in the comment box here. Somebody was saying something that is quite interesting. The person says sometimes I teach them something for a whole week, and after 1 month, they no longer remember the topics, which saddens me. And the truth of the matter is quite common with, with students of nowadays. A lot of teachers complain like that as well. They just say, despite the fact that they use 10 hours to teach a particular topic, they teach and teach. After a month, the student the students are forgotten, and the teacher feels so bad that despite all my effort. So how can teacher teach for students to remember?
Okay, now And every teacher experiences this. And the thing is that, one, you've not considered various students' learning abilities. One. Two, they have not learned that permanently. It is just in their temporal memory. There was a time I made post here. Sometimes leave the scheme of work alone. Sometimes leave the scheme of work alone. There will be people, but I don't blame teachers most time, because the school authorities, the Ministry of Education will be on them. Cover your scheme, cover your scheme. Is it of good? Is it useful? Is it more important to cover scheme and 10% of the content of the scheme are well understood, or to teach 3 or 4 topics in the scheme of work and it is 100% okay? These are the questions I ask the school managers where I've worked. Now, they tend to forget it because 1 week is not enough for them to learn that particular. There are topics you cannot just learn in 1 week, but you will see the educational managers of the country and the managers in the Ministry of Education, they will put a topic. All topics are not equal. There are topics that even a teacher, after reading it and teaching it, you can even forget it. There are topics that need constant attention. There are topics that needs to be worked for even a month before it will be permanent. So those topics, a lot of students, after a while, will forget them. They will pass it that time you are teaching them. But if it is not repeated, they will forget it. What you do, you learn. Okay, so what you have to do first of all is that make sure that in that class you differentiated your students. You've considered their various learning abilities. That is very important. Okay, so don't expect a very dull child. No, don't tell it. No student is dull, and don't use that word. It's very bad. But I'm just trying to hit the hammer on the nail. Don't expect a child that is below average to match with an average or high flyers immediately. Please. So you don't expect that child to learn everything in that topic. Even if it is the foundations that the child is able to learn, continue teaching that foundation until you are 100% sure that he or she has understood it before you progress to the next step. But we tend to start indices today and finish it today or tomorrow, which is wrong. If most teachers, after they must have given 3 or 4 examples and their students are getting it, they will feel that these students have understood that. Even if they keep on getting it, keep on giving it to them. Give up to 20 examples. There was a child one day in my class, I can't forget this. He called me a wicked helper. I laughed and laughed and laughed. Why? Why? He called me a wicked helper because I gave him 30 questions in assignment. I taught him indices and photocopied something and gave him 30 questions. The child said, sir, you are a wicked helper. He was very sad at that moment. But he doesn't know that when he is able to solve 30 questions in indices on a particular aspect of it, it's not even all. That child cannot forget that topic. So don't be sad when a child fails a topic you've taught him or her before. It is not their fault. Nobody wants to fail. So most of them are praying, God, please help me. I want to be like this, my classmates. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. So they are not even comfortable the way they are. So try to help them and assist them. I believe by so doing, you will achieve your results. So push them. Push them. We don't push them, they cannot move. Thank you.
Okay. I think a lot of people have learned a whole lot today. A lot of people have learned a whole lot today about what's it called. If there's any question you still having concerning this conversation, you can quickly drop it on the comment box before we draw the curtain on the program tonight. If you have any question, of course we have learned so far that teaching difficult subjects or difficult lessons can be as easy as possible if a whole lot of teachers put in the passion. They understand their student, their learning style. They understand what is called differentiation, ability to place their student well, and of course, they can also provide support when those students are not learning it. Of course, they also have to make researches about their topics, every topic they want to take, and then of course be creative enough to create alternative ways for students to attempt those questions well. So I think from tonight, a lot of people have learned about your strategies, and I think they are going to really, really start taking up those things. In the absence of no question again, let me say that this has been an insightful call. A lot of people have been commenting there. There's been a lot of um, insightful session, and of course, I know a lot of people have learned one or two things here. So thank you so much, Mr. It's wonderful. You have been wonderful to a lot of young people and a lot of teachers across board. And of course, I hope you're going to do more. And I hope we can also have sessions like this more to also be of help to teachers that are looking up to you to be like to teach like you teach, and of course to inspire thousands of young people out there. On that note, I want to say thank you so much once again. You have done a very great job. Thank you
Thank
for
you, my
everyone.
brother.
Thank you for everyone. Thank you for everyone who have joined us tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I would love to see you some other time. Bye bye. Thank
All
you so much.
right. Thank you, and bye. If you've not downloaded your lesson app,